My grandma always said, Josh, you're a very, very good driver. So I'm not really surprised. Well, good morning. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be, wait for it, top test tips at Coatbridge Test Centre. So first, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about Coatbridge Test Centre. You're going to find out all the facts you need to know if you're coming for a driving test here. Then we're going to include everything that occurs on a driving test, including one of the previously known test routes. So for any of you out there that don't know, the current pass rate for your driving test in the United Kingdom is currently around 45%. As I'm sure you're already thinking, that's not particularly high. That's less than 50-50 chance. So we need to do everything we can to maximize our chances of passing our driving test first time, second time, third time, whatever time. So I'm going to try and help you do that today. If you don't want to miss out on more top tips, more great stuff that's going to be coming, either join the Discord, like, subscribe, whichever you like to do. They all help other people out there find this information as well. So as I previously mentioned, on average, across the United Kingdom, learner drivers have a 45.9% chance of passing their driving test. Now, according to Pass Me Fast, Coatbridge Test Centre, from 2015, the pass rate was 40.5%. The last year's pass rate was actually 36.4%. That is a massive decrease, so it's really, really important that you make sure you are doing everything you can to make sure you're ready for your test. Now, first of all, let's have a look at Coatbridge itself. Does it have a car park? No, it does not have a car park for you to drive at. Now, if you're coming with a driving instructor, they will know all of this anyway, hopefully. Unless you force them halfway across the country out of their normal area, they should know all of this. So Coatbridge does not have a car park. It is only parking on the sides of the road. As you can see here, it is on a set of crossroads. So there are 4 different roads that you can park on. One of the roads does have double yellow lines, so try and avoid parking on that side. Now, wherever you decide to park your car, make sure that your vehicle is parked facing the exit. One of the roads has a dead end, so don't get confused with that. Ideally, would like you to park here or here, but as I say, you can't be helped if these places are taken, so park anywhere that's possible if there's nothing else available. So next up, the examiner is now going to ask us a tell me question. And for today's tell me question, he has picked, tell me how you'd switch on the rear fog lights and explain when you'd use them. You don't need to exit the vehicle. Now, the most popular answer I get to this question is when it's foggy. That's the wrong answer. You'd use your fog lights any time that visibility is severely reduced. Anything less than 100 meters, for instance, you would definitely turn your fog lights on. That could be due to snow, could be due to severe weather changes, anything at all. To turn them on in my car, I'd be turning this stick on the left twice, using the fog light mark, and the rear fog lights would turn on. Right, then it'd be time to get into the test. Now, the examiner is going to ask you to follow a sat-nav probably for around 20 minutes. The examiner is then going to guide you themselves for around 20 minutes of the test as well, during which time you will be asked to perform a manoeuvre, such as bay parking, parallel parking, or pulling over on the right. You will also be asked to pull over during the test on at least 3 separate occasions. Do not panic when they ask you to do this. This is perfectly normal. They want to see that you can pull over safely on the left side of the road and you can drive away safely without causing any danger to anyone else, including yourself. For the ease of you guys out there, it'd be a bit strange if I was trying to guide myself, so I'm just going to use the sat-nav for the full test route. Let's go. So it is a rainy day out there. Unfortunately, tests do still go ahead, so the first thing I need to do is make sure my window wipers are on. Now, if you've got a fairly modern car, they will and should be automatic. For my car, all I'm going to do is press the right stick down once and bang, the window wipers are now on. They will stay on automatic. If it rains, they'll turn on. If it stops raining, they'll turn off. Next thing is to double check your lights. Now, my lights again are on automatic, so I'll just make sure they're set on automatic. They're not at the moment, but they are now. If it starts to get severe or the car decides that the daylight's dimming, the car will turn the lights on automatically. Let's go. So I'm going to talk you through this whole test route from start to finish. I want to make sure that you understand exactly what the examiner is going to want from you, is going to expect from you, and how you can actually pass this test first time. First thing, blind spot checks. The most important thing you can do, and you can never check your blind spots too much. So I check the left side of the car because that's the pavement, and people walking are normally a bit slower than cars and other vehicles driving on the road. So if I'm against the pavement on the left, check the left side first, all the way around. It's nice and clear, and I'm off. So I stay on the left side of the road. I'm just keeping an eye on these crossroads. So I'm going to be turning left at this junction. I'm actually being asked to pull over on the left here, so I'm checking my mirrors, I'm signaling, and I'm gently easing over to the left. I'm braking gently, and then clutch down less than 3 car lengths away, handbrake and neutral. Now the examiner's asked me to drive away again, so I've put it into first gear. Again, I'm checking the left side first because I'm against the curb. Mirror, mirror, mirror. Check out the window, and it is clear. There's no one to signal for because there's no one actually coming, so I haven't bothered putting a signal on. If you are unsure whether you need to signal, just signal. I get onto my side of the road, and we are hunky-dory. Okay, so I can see from the sat-nav we have got a sharp bend going around to the left, but it is a continuous road, so I don't need to signal, but I will just drop down a gear just to give myself a lot more control. Okay, there are vehicles parked on the left here, so just check those mirrors before I go out and round, but as you can see, it's a damn good reason for dropping down to about 10 miles an hour there. So I'm going to go straight on. There we go. So I'm at a crossroad. The sat-nav says I'm going straight on, but it does say keep left. You see I've stopped just before that box there. I can't even see what the box is actually for because it's so worn out, but either way is a line and there's a box, so I'm not going in it. If you do that, you're going to show the examiner that you are aware of what you're doing. Look at this speed, okay? So I'm doing approximately 17 miles an hour around here. There is no need to go any faster than that. It would just be unsafe. I can start to speed up a little bit around here. It's clearing up a lot now. It seems to be a lot safer. I have got this vehicle right up my backside. Can you see him? I think he's trying to get inside me, maybe, bless him. But all you got to do, you just got to ignore that and make sure you focus on your driving test, okay? Because people don't actually, they aren't actually aware of what they're doing. Okay, again, we've got parked vehicles, so I'm just checking my central mirror and my right mirror. I'm just gently coming away from the car, making sure I'm that door's width from the car. Always a door's width. If one of these vehicles opens their door, if someone's in them, they open the door. If a child opens the door, they're not going to hit you, you're not going to hit them. Everyone is hunky-dory, and that's what the examiner is going to be expecting. As you can see, this is probably a 30-mile-an-hour road. We've got street lights down here. Is it safe to do 30? I don't particularly think it is, no. I'm staying in second gear. I'm doing about 25. I will put it up into third now, but I am turning left at the next junction, and we're 100 yards away. When the sat-nav says 100 yards, I check my mirrors and I drop a signal on. Now, this is looking like a very sharp bend. I am just going into second gear. In fact, I'm going to go into first gear. I want to try and get around this corner without clipping the curb. There we go. So I was down to 5 miles per hour for that corner. It was a very, very sharp corner. Very nice balance there of trying to not clip the curb and not go onto the other side of the road. Okay, so I'm going around this parked vehicle again. I've checked my mirrors. I'm turning right at this junction. I'm rolling into first because it's a closed junction, meaning you cannot see left and right. Oh, there is a car coming. So I'm just going to wait for him. Okay, he is now gone, so I am going around. This vehicle's parked on the junction, so it's very difficult to see, so you've just got to do your absolute best there. Turning right again at the end of this junction, so central mirror, right mirror, signal onto my side of the road once I'm past the cars. Clutch down, less than 3 car lengths away, and it's clear. I go straight onto the left side of the road, nice and comfortably. I'm getting nice and close to the curb because this car's parked on the right this time, so I just want to make sure there's as much room as possible for vehicles coming the other way. The other way. Hey, hey, hey. Stop sign, stop sign. What do we do at a stop sign? We always stop. What about if it's clear, you say? It don't matter. You still stop. Simple as that. So, the sat-nav wanted me to go straight on, but unfortunately, the road is closed. So I am going to continue to the left. I am then going to divert us right here if it's possible, and I'm going to divert us right again if it's possible. Okay, so I've had to divert the car because the road was actually closed. So central mirror, left mirror, turning left here, so he's proper signal on after checking the mirrors, less than 3 car lengths away. We're going into first, but I am stopping because it's a closed junction. It is clear enough to go, so I am going. So we have a red light ahead, so I'm already slowing down. I'm braking nice and early, gives his car behind me plenty of time to see that I'm slowing down. It gives him time to slow down as well. Less than 3 car lengths away. I don't want to get too close to those traffic lights because then I'll block the oncoming vehicles. As you can see, these cars have loads of space, but if a big lorry comes and I've got too close, it's going to be a bad day for everyone. The big question is here, do I use the handbrake? Yes, on this occasion I do. So we could be sitting here a little while, so why not? There's no harm in it at all. There's no bonus points either, but it's just less risk of any rolling or anything else. I have, however, chosen to leave it in first gear just because I'm ready to go, then I don't need to mess about. The lights have changed, I've only got to put the handbrake down. Okay, so I'm just constantly checking that sat nav. I just want to keep an eye on it so I know where I'm going. I don't need to wait for it to speak. I should know already where I'm going. This way I've got a lot more time to get on with things. This time I've got a lot more time to get things done. Well, no, this time I've just got a lot more time to prepare, make sure I know where I'm going. So I know there's just a roundabout coming up in 200 yards, and I've got to turn left at that roundabout. I'm matching up the road signs with the signs on the sat nav. I'm checking my mirrors now. I'm going to drop it down to second now because I shouldn't be in third gear in my car on a roundabout. I'm popping a signal on. And is it clear to go? Yes, it is. So I'm staying in the left lane because that's the lane you need for driving off to the left. The next roundabout is the A500 roundabout for city centre. We are going to be turning left at that onto the dual carriageway. So next we're going to look at how you take a slip road. Left at the roundabout. So I can see the roundabout sign. Sat nav says A500 city centre, so I'm looking at the sign. Oh yeah, city centre A500. So I've matched those up, so I know I'm going to go into the left lane because I'm going to be turning left. Central mirror, left mirror, signal. I'm just dropping it into second gear with a little bit of brake, just so I'm at the right speed, so I can judge on the approach what I need to do. And I've just managed to slow down enough to let the car go and then continue on myself. Now I've hugged the curb on the left because that's all I need to do. I'm staying in the left lane here. There is a filter lane on the right, so I'm just checking those mirrors. I'm just having a quick little glance, just make sure there's no cheeky monkey sneaking in on the right. There shouldn't be any need because there's no build up of traffic, but better to be safe. Now I'm checking my mirrors. I've built up speed on this slip road. It is actually a separate lane, as you can see from this line here. I've checked my mirrors, I made sure it was clear. It is. I'm at 50 miles an hour, which is the speed limit on this part of the A500. That's all you've got to do. Just build up to the same speed as the other traffic. Make sure you're constantly checking those mirrors as much as possible, not just once at the end, but all the way down the slip road, and then it's just a quick look over the shoulder. Trust your eyes. Just make sure you turn that head. Make sure you don't turn your whole body, because you don't want to accidentally pull the wheel with your body, but do just make sure you turn your head and have a quick glance. Now we have a slip road coming on here, so I just need to be aware of what vehicles are coming on and what vehicles are in my right lane. If it's safe to, I would go in the right lane. If it's not safe to and I needed to do something to let vehicles on, then I would just gently slow the car down slightly. Only slow down enough just to let those vehicles on, and then again you speed back up to match up the speed of the other vehicles as long as it's below the speed limit. Now I'm going to be getting off on the next slip road on the left in 500 yards. 500 yards going at 50 miles an hour goes a lot faster than it does when you're going 30 miles an hour. So I'm just keeping an eye on it. We're at 300 yards, 250, it's like the countdown. I've matched up the signs and I'm signalling because I can see the junction and I'm coming straight off in the left lane. Now again, I know I'm going to be turning left here for Stoke-on-Trent, A53. Now this is a continuous lane. There's a sign there for 30 miles an hour, so I'm just getting into the right speed. This isn't a giveaway junction, it's a continuous lane, so you don't need to stop. All you've got to do is just continue and make sure you match the speed and you stay in your lane. Now cars will want to change lanes here, which is absolutely fine. All you've got to do, give them a bit of space if they want to change lanes. If they don't, just carry on as normal. Now it's a 40-mile-an-hour zone here. We have speed cameras as well. Not that it makes any difference at all. Okay, for this roundabout, I need to go all the way around the roundabout to get to the very last junction to turn left at. So which lane do we get in on most roundabouts to go all the way around? It's going to be the right lane. So I'm already prepared for that. I know in my head what I've got to do. I can see the right lane coming up, so I'm checking my mirrors. I'm popping a signal on now just before it, just to let that van know, and I'm just making sure there's nothing there. And there's 2 lanes, splits into 2 lanes, so I'm getting straight into the right lane again, just because I need to go all the way around. Now this is a traffic controlled roundabout. The lights were green, so I can continue on. I don't need to worry about giving way to anything else. Okay.
Take the exit, then go straight on.
Now I've pulled off in the right lane just because I've decided to stick to my lane, which is absolutely perfect when it's safe to do so. If I go straight on, I'm going to get into the left lane. Really important here that I get into the correct lane, because these are all separate lanes with different directions. I'd like to go straight on, so I need to get into the central lane. The left lane here is for turning left, the right lane is for turning right, and the central lane is for going straight on. We have red lights, so I'm slowing down to a stop and I'm popping it into first. Again, do I use the handbrake? Well, we've stopped for more than a few seconds now, so I am going to pop the handbrake on. I'm still going to hold the bite so the car's ready to go with a tiny bit of gas. When I say a tiny bit, thickness of a pound on the gas, and the clutch is just at the bite point for my car. My hand's on the handbrake and I'm fully aware of what's going on ahead. I've checked the sat nav. At the moment it's just showing straight ahead all the way down Utoria Road, so let's see where we go. There is a big old pothole. It's a monster. Could fit the Loch Ness in that. And the lights have changed, so I am off. Now you have got cars on both sides of you there, so you just got to keep a nice straight car there. Don't want to be all over the shop, because once you go through the traffic lights, the lane markings seem to disappear. Lights have gone red again, so I've just eased off the gas completely, and I'm just gently on the brake, and again, less than 3 car lengths away, the clutch goes down and I go into first gear. The lights have changed. I didn't bother using the handbrake there because there was no need. I barely stopped, to be honest. I was still traveling just less than 1 mile an hour, which makes life a lot easier to just continue.
After 300 yards, turn left.
300 yards. We're turning left. So what's the speed around here? Well, it's all going to be 30 miles an hour. Does it mean it's safe to do 30? No, it doesn't always mean it's safe to do 30, but that is the maximum. It's a town. It's going to be busy. There's going to be people, cars, very busy area, Hanley and Cobridge areas. So yes, you need to make sure that you're no more than 30 for sure, but probably less than that in the majority of the test. Now I have used a handbrake here because we're on a bit of a hill and I'd rather not risking rolling back and failing my test. I'm nice and close to the curb, but I'm making sure I don't clip that curb either, and I've stayed on our side of the road. Now this is a bit of a one-way system. As you can see, there is no turning right here. And this splits into 2 lanes. Now the sat nav is telling me in 300 yards I'm turning right at the roundabout. So I'm going to do what any sensible person would do, and I'm going to get into the right lane nice and early. Again, I did just check the blind spot because it's a one-way road with 2 lanes, so it's best just to make sure there's nothing in the blind spot there sneaking up on me. Central mirror, right mirror, and signal. There are cars coming, so I've rolled to a stop. We are on a bit of a hill, so I could choose to use a handbrake. In fact, I'm going to. Why not? I've got a nice solid bite there. After this white car, I'm going to start going. There we go. Signal goes back on. We are hugging the roundabout, and then we're coming off in the left lane. I've checked my mirrors there, just checked the blind spot again. It was nice and clear, so straight off in the left lane.
After 300 yards, turn left.
Now we have a 30-mile-an-hour zone again on the ring road, the town road. just after this bridge, 190 yards, I am turning left. So my rule is at 100 yards, I will signal and boom, 100 yards, central mirror, left mirror, pop that signal on. Drop it down to second gear just before the junction, clutch is back up. And we are going. Look at this hill. Okay, so we come to another roundabout. I can see I'm turning right at the roundabout third exit. So I'm hugging this right line. I've popped my signal on. I'm already in second gear. Is it clear? Yes, it is clear. I hug the roundabout, but not too much so I hit it. And then I come straight up in the left lane, nice and tight against that curb once I've checked the mirrors and signaled, making sure it was clear. I am going to change into third gear. Why? Because the road ahead is nice and clear now. There's nothing that I can see, so 30 miles an hour is and should be safe. I can see signs for bus lanes though. Lots of bus lane signs, don't go into those. That is a nice on the spot fine if you do, and you'll definitely end up failing your test. Braking down because the lights ahead are red, so there's no point flying into the back of that car and then slamming the brakes on in the last second. No point at all. It is not good for your petrol consumption, it's not environmentally friendly, and it's not helpful for the person behind you, especially if you're a big vehicle and they can't see past you. So I can see the lights are green. It's quite a tight bend, not corner, bend. So there's no signalling, but it does just mean I needed to ease off the gas a little bit, drop down to around the 20 mark, just to get around that bend comfortably and not be feeling panicky. This is the most important thing. You don't want to be feeling panicky on your driving test. You know, it's intense. So the best thing to do is slow down with everything. Just make sure everything's just a little bit slower and you're just constantly thinking ahead, like chess. 3 moves ahead. What's going on next? Sat nav says I've got to go left at 600 yards. Well, that's my next move. So how do I prepare for that? Well, I know when I get to around that 100-yard mark, I'm going to be checking my mirrors. I'm going to need to be signaling left. In the meantime, all I need to do is make sure that these vehicles ahead are, well, it's clear. So this Royal Mail van's just pulled over on the left here, so I just need to slow down, let him go by, and make sure I'm that door's width. You knew it, you knew it. Now this car's parked on the left again, so I'm just checking those mirrors because although I'm staying on my side of the road, I'm still moving across to the right. That means if there was a cyclist there, a motorbike or anything else, I'm risking hitting them if I don't check my mirrors, and that is a very, very possible fail. And we do not want a fail. Not with a 39% pass rate. Okay, now we have bumps here. What is a safe speed for the bumps? Well, bumps are there. Well, what are the bumps there for? They're there to slow vehicles down. So for me, if it's comfortable over the bump, it's probably safe. Okay, so in my car, that's around 18 to 20 miles an hour, depending on the bumps, depending on the road, depending on the environment that you're in. At the moment, the road seems quite clear, quite quiet. There's plenty of room. So yeah, so I'm doing 20 miles an hour. But I am always making sure that I am a door's width from those cars and I'm preparing for a meeting traffic situation at all times. Here we have hit a 20 zone. Keep that in mind, boys and girls. This is a 20 zone. This means you do not want to be going any faster than 20 miles per hour down here. Why have I made such a big deal of that? Because there are not that many 20 zones, and therefore it's important that you do note where they are and make sure that you pick them up. Okay, there we have signs. We're using our forward thinking, forward perception and awareness, and there is the 30 sign, so we can speed back up to the 30. However, the examiner has asked me to pull over on the left, so that's when it's safe to do so. So I check my central mirror, my left mirror, and I drop a signal on just after this bump. You see the solid white line, we don't want to be stopping on that. Just after that, and there we go, we're against the curb. There we go. Was there anything wrong with that? The signal goes off as well. No, there's nothing wrong with that because there are no white lines or anything else. We're not blocking the road. They can go round me. There's no issues here at all. We're not parked near a junction either. Perfect. Nothing wrong with that. Next, the examiner is going to say, when it's safe to do so, Josh, can you drive on? I'm going to say, yeah, why not? Yeah. So I've popped it into first. I've checked the left side. I've checked the mirror on the wall. I've checked the right side blind spot there. There is a vehicle ahead coming, so it is a bit tight. So I'm just checking it again because it's been more than a second since I've checked it, but it's still clear, so I am going off. I didn't signal again because there was no need. Once that vehicle has passed, there was no one else to signal for. As I say, does not mean you have to. You should signal if you are unsure. Always make sure that you signal if you're not sure whether you need to or not. This is a 30 zone, if you remember. We have gone back into a 30 zone. However, there's still bumps here. My car would not be comfortable hitting these bumps at 30 miles an hour. And I wouldn't be either, to be honest. It doesn't seem particularly safe to be doing 30, so I'm just not going to. But I am checking my mirrors as I go around this vehicle to go on the other side of the road. I'm still in second gear. Again, I'm staying on the right side of the road because there's no point swerving back in. There's nothing coming at all. So I need to turn right here. We've got a very funny junction. I could go to the end and turn right, but I'm not going to. I'm going to turn right here because it's actually designed for you to almost already be in the right side. And it's going to give me a better view of the right. After this vehicle, is it safe to go? Yes, it is. So I am just going now.
After 200 yards, turn
200 yards, I'm turning left. So I'm checking my central mirror, my left mirror, and I'm signaling left. At the traffic lights is a crossroads, traffic control crossroads, so I need to be turning left. I've made sure I'm a door's width from this parked cars. Central mirror, left mirror, signal left. Now, I haven't done a manoeuvre on my driving test yet, so I am already quite aware that chances are the examiner's going to ask me to do a parallel park when I get back. And that is the end of the ultimate Coatbridge test route. I am very excited. How do you think I've done? How have I done? Well, Josh, you did very, very well. There were a few sticky moments, but in the end, we got through it. I'm pleased to say you passed. Well, that's because I'm a very, very good driver. My grandma always said, Josh, you're a very, very good driver. So I'm not really surprised. Now, as you've seen already, Coatbridge is made up of a number of very narrow roads with lots and lots of parked cars. Speed limits approximately 30 miles an hour or less. Even when the speed limits are 30 miles an hour, there's not many areas you can actually reach 30 miles an hour safely. There's very, very tight corners, very tight bends. It's a very, very specific driving style. Lots and lots of terrace style streets, lots of very small miniature roundabouts, and even some dual carriageway as well. It's really worth making sure that you've had lots of practice in that style of driving if you're having a test at Coatbridge, because as you can see, 2019 to 2020 pass rate 39%. That's not a massive chance. Do your homework. Any questions, anything at all, join the Discord. It is the Toucan community. Feel free, pop in, say hello. Any questions, feel free to put it in there or in the questions below. That's the end of this chapter. See you in the next one.